In studio, lead faculty for astronomy, makerspace, and physical science at College of the Canyons, Professor Teresa Ciardi. Did I get that right, Professor?
You know, that is what it used to be. It has been Americanized to Ciardi.
I like Ciardi though. I like preserving the non-anglicized version of a name. And your student Patrick Gagnon.
Gagnon.
Gagnon. Gagnon. I assume.
Gagnon.
Gagnon.
French.
See, I like the European version of it much better than the Americanized version. Anyway, you guys are involved in the NASA's High Altitude Student Platform. I was a former COC student. Our paths would have never crossed, though. I wish I was better in physical science or science at all, but it was just never my thing. I took one chemistry class. I did. Chem 150 with Professor Eric Erickson. And the only reason I remember his name is because it's Eric Erickson. How are you going to forget that? Anyway, though, I was telling you guys off air, my brother, though, received his bachelor's in aerospace engineering and master's in mechanical engineering from Long Beach State. So if you're a COC student today, I'm sure he would have taken part in, of course, the High Altitude Student Platform, which I have to imagine is most of the time reserved for colleges and universities. So I'm sure it's a unique opportunity for a community college to get this kind of opportunity experience with NASA.
Yes, we competed the first time with universities in 2016 and landed a spot on the platform. And because of the professionalism of our College of the Canyon students at testing and integration, we were invited to apply again in 2017. And now this is our third year running. We're the only community college doing this multiple times.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And is it schools around the nation or just here in California?
It's actually schools around the world.
Oh.
In fact, one team this year is from
Brussels.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it tough with the turnover in students of being a community college and you have students go to colleges and university? Is it hard sustaining the progress that you've made from year to year with that kind of student turnover?
Not with the teamwork that is cultivated, because leadership is teaching all the people who are interested in continuing the project, and they become our leaders the next year. And we hope to continue that with our alumni and moving into next year.
So, Patrick, are you an aerospace engineer major? Are you a mathematics, statistics guy? Are you mechanical, computer science maybe?
From College of the Canyons, I'm actually applying for 3 associate degrees in mathematics, physics, and engineering. But really, my passion lies in aerospace engineering.
Awesome.
I want to be a rocket scientist one day.
Yeah, right. Do you know where you want to go? Or have you applied anywhere?
I've actually thought about Long Beach, and up there's UCLA, USC, and even Caltech. I mean, I kind of aim for the stars a little.
Yeah, right. Awesome. That's so cool, man. So, according to my research, all I see on my notes, the payload was designed to trap interplanetary cosmic dust particles, which is awesome, but also completely over my head. I'm sure it has some scientific research-based purpose, but could you explain to me, someone that doesn't really know anything about science, why is it important to trap the interplanetary cosmic dust particles, and what kind of impact does that have on research moving forward, maybe?
Well, that was our experiment in 2016 and 2017.
Okay.
We wanted to analyze the dust and see what is the composition, because that can tell you a lot about the birth of our solar system. But this year's team designed an entirely new experiment. Most of it was designed by you, Patrick, so you could speak to this.
So this year, we have devised a payload that basically tests the level of acids in stratospheric ozone, and we're attempting to remove it. We're attempting to mitigate it using a calcium carbonate solution.
Awesome. So, what is the impact of that? Does that affect like space travel or anything like that, or?
It's a geothermal engineering experiment. We're basically trying to help scrub and clean the ozone layer. We're trying to take all the nasty buildup of the particles that is created here on Earth, the greenhouse gases, the especially the acids, because they destroy the ozone layer. We're trying to remove them from the atmosphere and give us, for the future, a projected cleaner environment.
Awesome. Hey, just as a side note, you guys believe in aliens? I happen to believe that we're just here by miracle, by happenstance. This is like 1 in a billion. I don't think we're alone in the universe. I just think here in the Milky Way, I think we're the only intelligent life form. What about you guys? You guys have any theories on that?
I think that at least within our solar system, there might be simpler forms of life, microbial forms. I actually worked on another internship this semester. It's NASA's NCAS program, or the National Community Aerospace Scholars. And in designing, one of my projects was to help design a rover. And my rover's mission was to go to Mars and basically look for, the water and stuff that has been theorized. And I was hoping that maybe, it would find, smaller, simpler forms of life. So I personally believe that it's out there. As far as, ET coming down,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe not in our Milky Way, but somewhere maybe.
Yeah. I have to believe, somewhere out there. You bring up internships. Moving forward past COC, the program's got to look good on resumes for college applications and prospective employers, right?
Yeah, to date, we have last year's project lead and actually the founder of the program landed an internship with JPL and is now working at both JPL and Caltech. He has 2 internships this summer as a result of his skills working on these projects. And now Patrick, our current project lead, has achieved this internship with NASA because of his skills working on this project.
So time commitment, how much time are we dedicating every day, every week? I'm sure this has got to be like a full-time gig.
Oh, it is a full-time gig, and to be honest, we lose track of the hours because sometimes it varies, and sometimes we are nose to the grindstone working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think last year we said something like 2,500 man-hours, and I think this year we've probably doubled it.
Yeah. I mean, I was a marketing major. I don't think I put that much time in my entire 4 years, it's different areas of academia, I guess. But more and more aerospace companies, I feel like, are moving back east. My brother had, a couple work things in Atlanta and South Carolina. But I know that we had a couple aerospace companies right here in the industrial center. Are there opportunities out here still, or are they all moving back east or over to Europe or being outsourced that way?
I really don't know. I know that we have a couple of aerospace manufacturing sites here in Santa Clarita. And then I would guess our closest, probably aerospace, really doing rocket science would be SpaceX in Hawthorne.
Right.
What do you think?
For me personally, I've lived here almost my whole life. I've been here 15 years, and one of the things I've learned growing up in the Santa Clarita Valley and, of course, the neighboring Antelope Valley is that, yes, a lot of aerospace companies are moving back east, but there's still a lot of history there, and I think that old-time history is going to keep some of the companies here. In the industrial complex, we have Aerospace Dynamics International. My roommate actually works for a precision machine shop for the aerospace industry, and of course Lockheed Martin and Dryden, and also Northrop Grumman up in the Antelope Valley. So I still think there's plenty of opportunity. The ones that kind of got their roots here and got started here, I think that they're always going to be here.
So for the 2018 project that you guys are working on, next week is a big week for you guys. I know you guys have something coming up in Texas, right?
Yeah, and thankfully we're going to Texas. We have struggled all year to try to pull funding together to take the leadership team to Texas for the required testing and integration. So what happens is our payload goes into a vacuum chamber where they pull all the air out. They make our payloads, along with the university payloads on the deck, very hot and very cold. And you have to have all your commands working. It's a do or die moment. If you survive that, then you have the opportunity to integrate your payload onto the payload deck. And I'll let Patrick tell you what integration means.
So integration is making sure that once we pass thermal vacuum testing, which is basically whether or not our payload will even survive in the environment that we're going to put it in, integration comes together with all the other payload teams and all the other payloads onto the gondola, which will go up. And we need to make sure that our payload doesn't blow any of the fuses. We need to make sure that everything it can receive serial commands, and it can transmit data through our downlink communication system. And basically, it's making sure that once it's on the gondola, we're ready to fly, and so are all the other payloads. And once we pass that, that's basically the green light for us that we get to go up.
Awesome. Let me do a quick traffic update, and then we'll get right back to you. We're talking, of course, to Professor Ciardi and Patrick Gagnon from COC's what is the name of the club that we are in? The Physics and Astrology?
Astronomy and Physics Club.
Awesome. Patrick from COC's, I have it right here. You guys are coupled with NASA's High Altitude Student Platform. I have to imagine that running a program like this, let alone launching anything into orbit or to Earth's upper atmosphere, is an expensive club. It is an expensive task. Do we have issues with funding or anything like that at COC?
Yeah, as a community college, we don't have the kind of grant funding where you have money to work on special projects like you would have at a university. And so we have to work toward finding funds for these projects. We've been, very fortunate that a handful of people have come together to support us this year. But it actually was not until 2 days and 2 weeks before needing to fly to Texas for the required testing and integration that we actually had the money to go. So it is a struggle. Our chancellor at COC, Diane Van Hook, is amazing. She tries to find funds and connect us with people. And then former Board of Trustee member Bruce Fortine has helped us out.
Yeah, Bruce. Love Bruce.
Mike Bastine from the Center for Applied and Competitive Technologies, and then most recently, Alan Lewis from the Aeon Group, who's connected with SpaceX investors.
Perfect. This is awesome. This is incredible innovation. It's happening right here in the Santa Cruz Valley, right here at COC. And big week coming up. I'm sure we'll keep up to the date and up to the minute information with everything happening in Texas next week. And we'll provide all that information at hometownstation.com. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and hopefully, best of luck next week.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Time is